Just a quick reply.
We can see your screen, sir.
Thank you, Erika. Thanks. So let's start then. So welcome for the third session for the cybersecurity on night hacking third session. So last 2 weeks actually we discussed about, okay, so what is the purpose of this session? So just calling night hack is just to hack, right? So and also to set up the roadmap to earn millions, right? So that's the whole idea. At the same time, of course, you don't need money. Of course, you can build up your portfolio. You can do it for fun, or you can help someone. There are so many things that you can do, but it's always good to have a one particular clear objective, right? So there's a huge industry out there. So why not grab a part of it? And there are a lot of other companies doing such, right? And of course, these because these things are equate to monetary value, because things what's really happening is quite damaging. Of course, like somebody shared this one in our WhatsApp group. Please do share these things. It's really great, so others can have a look at it. And today we are going to talk about about career development as well. So you might be on different types of careers, or different types of different uh, like roads that you are traveling, but it's okay. You can still use these tools. We are doing it here in cybersecurity, and Thursday on AI, or even we are going to do on different topics on research. Uh, so you can use these tools to get a probably a better life, right? So that's the whole idea. So anyhow, like in this particular documentation or the news item, it says Singapore actively dealing with ongoing cyber attack on critical infrastructure. So critical infrastructure is, if you have not come across, it can be a nuclear power plant. In Sri Lanka, we don't have a nuclear power plant, if I'm not mistaken, but we have a lot of other power plants, right? Where we have hydropower stations, mini hydropower stations, and we, I think, have a coal power station likewise, but I don't think we have a nuclear power, if I'm not mistaken. But of course, we know where the initial fight between Iraq and Iran, then Iran and other countries, Israel, and so many other things started because of this nuclear, because energy is a huge thing, right? So, but remember, critical infrastructure is not only energy things, even hospitals and so many other things. So, attack is said to be carried out by UNC3886, which is Google-owned cybersecurity firm described by China Nexus Espionage Group. But of course, you can always go to, this is like a good, like it's always good to read these things, might attack framework. And if you search for this guy, you probably can find out, yeah, from here. Of course, there's one from SOC Prime, and probably even if you go inside this, there's a good possibility that you can find out different types of organization listed here. So always try to use this one. I'm not sure whether we'll get anything to this one. Yeah, so we have, right? So you can see this particular organization or hacker group, whatever we call it, have done several things, right? So it says here, uh, novel China Nexus cyber espionage threat actor exploits Fortinet VMware 0 days and custom malware. So this was in last year, June 20th, almost a year back, right? So so if you don't understand a lot of it, don't worry. Once you go through these sessions, probably a few months down in the line, you'll be able to get more knowledge about everything that you read here. Anyway, let's quickly go through this. So we have a lot to cover. So Singapore is actively dealing with a highly sophisticated threat actor. So threat actors are like people who are doing it, right? So, and also they are using a different line of attack. So that is attacking critical infrastructure, coordinating Minister of National Security. This is the guy, Shanmugam, probably Indian person. Yep. Ms. Shanmugam identified then TTS UN C3886, which Mandiant has described as China Nexus Espionage Group. Yeah, so it says, I'm not sure what do you mean by owned by Google. The threat actor poses a serious danger to Singapore and could determine the country's national security. So these are big problems, like $1 million or even $1 billion problems. And you will understand later on once you go through this, what you call threat hunting or threat management and all these things, all these words like what is APTs and onwards. So don't worry too much. Just familiarize yourself with these words. I know some of you probably are doing this, working with these things every day if you're on a SOC and all that. Quite interesting. So I'm not going to go too much detail into things, but these things are happening. But what is important is what is the outcome of this? You have to keep a tab on these things. If you can keep a journal, make a note on this, right? It's always good to do that. I keep, because if you go to an interview or if you're having a discussion with anyone, you see how people do things. At the end of the day, if you are to manage your organization or you're managing somebody else's organization, if you're the chief cybersecurity guy, so you deal with these sort of actors, right? Or these sort of groups. There's no one, stopping you from attacking, your computer, your home, as I say, your routers, your cameras and all that. So that is the thing. So, and they're saying cyber attack involving over a lot of devices, right? So you can go through the whole documentation to understand it. So just to give, these things are very common, right? So I don't want to go specifically into this because we have a lot to cover, but when needed, we go for this each attack and try to see the full process. So if you go to MITRE ATT&CK framework, that's this full process listed here. Ideally what they do: reconnaissance, resource development, initial access, execution, persistence, and up to like the real hack, right? And getting all the information. So there's a lot happening here. As you can see, it's quite, I would say, complex, but it's resourceful. There's a lot of things happening. So we learn about all these things, right? So that's the whole idea. So then you have a kind of a toolkit. Everything is a tool here. Don't think this is something to remember. This is not just a thing to remember or by heart. No, it's a tool. It's like fun thing. You don't need to remember any of those, but you have to use or you have to do these things or work on these things, right? How to do emails, but we have to try it, do it and see, right? So once you do something like that, make sure that you need to add it to your profile. I'll talk about this profiling thing or how to build up your profile, from the scratch, and how to incorporate whatever you are learning to kind of like showcase to others that you are capable doing things, right? So I'll close these things, right? So, and then let's go to a few other news items quickly. So this is cybersecurity news from MSP, Google. So these are quick things, but just to understand what's really happening around the world. These are current news. This is like few days back, 4 days back or 5 days back. Google issues fix for active zero-day vulnerability in Chrome V8 JavaScript engine. So now when you read these things, what you should do these days is just what I would do is, maybe you don't understand few things here. What do you mean by zero-day vulnerability? What do you mean by V8 JavaScript engine? And is it JavaScript? Yeah. So Chrome, like the vehicles, you have engines. This Chrome's V8 is so famous. It's like the heart of Google Chrome browser, right? And it's built from JavaScripts. And there's so much of things that you can learn about it and do. So this is even then, like reading this news item, there's a lot to learn. So what you should do is go to ChatGPT or so and say, I don't understand a lot of cybersecurity parts here, terminology, explain it to me as a small kid. That's what you should do, right? So that's where you can learn faster, quicker, and you can then ask question, how can I fix this? So how can I do something by my own? Can I do something and earn some money? Likewise, ask basic stupid questions. That's what you should do. But anyway, so Chrome V8, of course, something that you should look at. So now there are so many browsers around the world, even though you don't call it as Chrome or Google stuff, but this is open source one. So V8 is Google open source high performance JavaScript WebAssembly. So it's something that also again you have to learn in the days to come, WebAssembly, and this is written from C++. So why this is used, or this is good to know, because C++ is really fast. You can't say it's really secure, so but it's really fast. So it implements ECMA script and also WebAssembly. So WebAssembly is pretty interesting to talk about. So these things, just keep a tab on these things. So I understand. I think you understand my point here. Read the news items, not to understand or upadupa type vada. Go here and understand what's really happening. And also then, of course, check news items related to Google Chrome. right? So there's so much of things happening, right? So you can see some latest posts like this is last year, WebAssembly JSPI going to original trial, iterator, something called iterator. So these are programming elements, and V8 sandbox, they talk about security and onwards. I'm not going to talk too much of time, but at least just go here and have a look at it, and who manages this website, do those things, right? Just keep it in your mind. Okay, there's something called V8 dev, and somebody should be managing it. It's C++, of course. Who's the development team? So start building up your knowledge base. ඒක මේ කටපාඩම් මතක තියාගෙන ගන්න මේක නිකන් automatically grow වෙනවා ඔයාගේ knowledge base එකේ. So make sure this is something very important. And if you find a guy who is like the main engineer, of course this guy should be having a Twitter account. Start following them. So start looking at their tweets. So that's how you build up your portfolio. So very important, right? So and then they're saying some 0-day vulnerability. 0-day vulnerabilities is the other big thing. So the world has this big problem called 0 days. So 0 days is like no one knows about when it comes, but suddenly, maybe like the same day that you're going to launch a particular software element or a software or big software product. So the same day there's a vulnerability that somebody detects, and that can be pretty bad, so that can really hurt the organization. Yeah, I'm not going to talk too much. And data breach at Australian airline Qantas compromises 6 million customer record. So think about the 6 million customers, start legal action. And I'm going to start a small discussion, not discussion like, the research group, but legal tech or tech and legal stuff. You guys can join in probably this Friday or this Saturday. I will do it. So it's very interesting to see the legal side of it. So I would really ask every one of you to keep a tab on what's really happening at the legal world. This is pretty amazing, I would say, if somebody wants to see the action and want to jump in. Anyway, so you can see like, so it's a disclosed cyber attack, right? And this can really hurt a lot of people, right? And of course, Qantas. And remember, airline industry. So this is something that I'm going to talk to really detail today about this big companies, how the businesses work, the ecosystem. I'll ask some questions from you guys as well. How the world works, how the economy works, right? So we all realize the value of economy and finance, because then Sri Lanka got the economic problems. Otherwise, you don't never even look at your own finances. But remember, it's mandatory that we look at our own finances. Not that I'm doing everything, but this is good news, right? Or this is something that I need to share. So somebody should talk about these things. So remember how big businesses get affected. So what I wanted to say is airlines are always unprofitable. They're losing money. And when a data breach happens, so Qantas is going to, bust themselves. So that's where, you can obviously work in cybersecurity and just quickly get a good opening at one of the airline companies. So understand these ecosystems. It's easier to find your job opportunities. Yeah, that's enough, right? Otherwise, there's plenty of news items here, but I'll quickly go through all the news items. And this is also good. And I'll pay me, how the pay. Make it Sunil Handath Economic Forum. So the World Economic Forum is a good place for you guys to join in. Make a පුළුවන් free join in. Make a newsletter එකක් කියවනවා. මෙහා මේක කියවන්න කියන අදහසට වඩා අර ecosystem ගැන අවබෝධයක් තියාගන්න. So World Economic Forum is a private entity, not a government entity. මේක ලස්සන YouTube video එකක් තියෙනවා බලන්න. මේකේ හොරු වෙන පට්ට හොරු ඉන්නේ මේකෙත්. Right? So YouTube එකේ බැලුවොත් එහෙම මම පෙන්නන්නම් ඔයගලන්ට. يعني ගොඩක් දේවල් ගැන different view එකක් තියාගන්න එක හොඳයි. ඒකල මේවත් business unit එකේ හදලා තියෙනවා. So today is not the day to talk about these things. For World Economic Forum story or something, if you search for this, so this is the one. So watch this channel. You'll be amazed of what little that we know. This channel is pretty amazing, right? So if you go and there are only like 53 videos, I think all these videos you need to watch. Of course, there can be two sides to the story, but what you need to understand is, if you want to be good in cybersecurity or anything that you do, you have to understand, like as an example, everybody says, okay, Warren Buffett is the guy, right? But there's a dark side for that person also. Charlie Munger is the guy, but there's a bad side for them as well. And of course, all the good people, The bad people, they have good and bad. So there's no single, I think, I think, so you understand, right? So I think this is the most powerful bank. Similarly, so I would just want to show about the World Economic Forum. So this guy, and of course, you should know this guy, read about him. He's a mathematician. So basically, you should watch all these videos to the end. But anyway, what I wanted to show you was the World Economic Forum video. So you'll be amazed how crooked these people are, right? So, but again, it doesn't say that. What's up, guys? In this video, it's not to say that we should have World Economic Forum. They are doing a great job, but you have to understand the backstories of all these things, right? Then you'll be amazed of the things that you don't know, right? Yeah. Okay, so listen to this guy. It's one of the best things that can happen to you, right? Just we have a chat. Sorry, like today I don't have much of. Thanks. I don't have many screens. I have only single screen, so yeah, sorry about it. So anyhow, why humans are the weakest link and other cybersecurity news? Yeah, so the weakest link is cybersecurity human. Remember, this is always the case. So they're talking about again contest, right? So they're doing good articles, as you can see, right? So which anybody can understand. All the biggest billionaires can understand. So World Economic Forum is always looked at from different angles by billionaires, politicians, think tanks, everyone. Legal guys, judges, and everyone. The group has been linked to recent attacks on Marks and Spencer. It's another big firm targeting airlines, and online operations would only be fully restored. And 27% of response said that their building has experienced cyber attack in last 12 months. So this is good news for you guys, right? OpenAI to provide cyber defense support for this is happening. This is really happening. I told you $5 billion are already given out by Trump to OpenAI and other big companies to come up with this AI policies, stuff like that. So it's good to read these things. News in brief, top cybersecurity stories for this month. South Korean authorities find SK Telecom. See, 27 million user data sets leaked out. So SK South Korean Telecom is a huge entity. Korean Korean movies TV series. Romance there's a lot of technology there, like there's plenty that you'll be amazed with. But anyhow, at the same time, even though they're doing great things, they're getting also hacked, right? And North Korean hackers are using fake Zoom updates, trick employees at Web3 and crypto organizations. And today's session is also about Web3, so I'll come to that very quickly. It's almost like I've talked for almost 20 minutes, right? But anyway, these things also should be shared, right? More about cybersecurity forum stories. Yeah, I think it's enough. So this is a good place. Please register yourself. I'm not saying, okay, go and register for all the newsletters. If you go to LinkedIn, there are thousands of newsletters. But what you can do is create a new email account just for checking newsletters. So it's not a bad thing. Anyhow, so Microsoft CISA warns cyber attacks targeting on-premises SharePoint servers. So again, now these are huge things. One, why? Because Microsoft infrastructure is everywhere. So Microsoft infrastructure, anyone knows here what is Patch Tuesday? Anyone here knows about Patch Tuesday? What is Patch Tuesday? It's tightly connected with Microsoft, of course. Anyone knows? Nope. Okay, Patch Tuesdays, every Tuesday is a patch day for Microsoft. Of course, you can't blame Microsoft, even though I do blame. They have a pretty bad operating system, security-wise, obviously, and they have something called DLL hell. But apart from that, Microsoft is everywhere, right? We only see the surface like Windows, Office, but they have their products because when you start looking into critical infrastructure, nuclear power plants to dams to hospitals. Even though we love to have Linux, but Linux is at the server end, we see a lot of Microsoft stuff. And of course, now more and more because of the cloud and AI, Microsoft services are getting so much popular. Of course, AWS is lovable, but Azure is also have their own roots. So, but remember, a lot of cyber attacks are happening and it's easier than hacking other systems. And please remember that. So I'm not going to talk too much about the CVE hell, but there's plenty happening. And also this is another organization that you should look after, CISA. There are two, of course. CISA is a certification from ISACA. That's not this. This is a different organization from USA. So it's good to keep it in your brain map, And of course, CV is something that we are going to talk too too detailed about, because we are going to, so as an example, I still don't have a CV, but I know one of my students got 2 CVs on his name. So if you go to the CV details, all the guys who are here this session and also who is listening to this have an objective, right? Today I'm going to give you a few objectives for all of you guys, right? So one, of course, is to basically to have a CVE for your own name before you die, right? Anyone want to add any comments? So make sure, take a list, a book, or even Rome research, and what to do, have a CVE for your own name or for yourself, something like that. So make sure you have something like that, because it's valued. If you have it in your CV, perfect, right? So, but we'll talk about in details how we want to use this site, right? So there's plenty. It's been updated recently. It's quite good. And of course, to have a CV and anything related to that. But simply what I'm saying is a vulnerability. There are different products do have vulnerabilities. You can get vulnerabilities by date here. The perfect site. You can see how valuable this is, right? To collect all this in. This is data, right? This is data. AI and පාවිච්චි කරනවා. AI වලින් අපි මම දැන් හිතා ගන්න බැරි දේවල් කරන්න පුළුවන් with AI, when you have this data or data, whatever, right? So you can see year-wise how many buffer overflows were there in 2015 and how many you have in 2025. My goodness, buffer overflow attacks. We'll talk about it. If you do OSCP certification, buffer overflow is a major one. And more and more, like the value of this is getting a little bit lesser in certification wise because everybody knows about this. But remember, buffer overflows are so common. And memory corruptions, again, lot, XSS, web security, SQL injections are getting very, you can see red color. Now you can see this, the bright red, not bright, or it's a dark red is not here. Maybe because like buffer overflows can be handled easily. But, SQL injections are harder to handle, file inclusions, CSRFs. So we talked this little bit about it, but we haven't yet to do any practicals. So once you do practicals, you can learn a lot. Last week, you can see with Kaido, we have tried some of these things, but don't worry. We'll go and do a project and we'll do a practical. But one thing that I wanted to say, I have a specific section to the introduction session, but I'll come with a quick intro. When you want to learn about cybersecurity, there are two approaches. I've created for several universities, several cybersecurity syllabuses. But see, like some of the time, when you want to learn about web security, you have to first develop a website, right? It's rarely we do that approach. How many of you have developed a website? Here, anyone? Anyone who had done a complete website? Yeah, Prasanna. Great. At least how many of you have raised your hands if you have a personal website to your own? Thanks, Erika. Yes, you have. That's great. Now here, whoever, now there are 13 here or 12. And of course, there is some other people who are listening to this. Make sure we have several projects to do in the next few months or few weeks. You have to create a one website. It can be like, as an example. So I have, so you can do a free website in Jita.io, right? So you don't have to spend money. So this is a pretty old one, right? So this is like, I don't know, 20 years back. So yeah, I'm pretty old now. But anyway, this is like a free site. At least you have to have something like this, a portfolio. What you have done, teaching, in case if you are a cybersecurity guy, you can build your There are great websites, or you can Google GitHub. GitHub is the place where you need to awesome develop a portfolio. So remember how I do these searches. This can be useful. I'll come back to these things a little bit later after I jump in. Otherwise, it's almost half an hour done. List of developer. You have to build up website and a portfolio. Two different things. Of course, you can use your website as a portfolio. Yeah, that's okay. But you have to use so many other things. Now, let's go and get a full stack developer one here quickly. And let's try to see. Okay, AI developer is here from A. And can you get a cybersecurity guy? Cyber. Okay, there was cybersecurity enthusiast and a backend developer. Okay. You quickly look at these three. Okay, you can see this is quite good, right? So of course, okay, see a lot of good stuff happening here. And if somebody says, Machang, I don't know programming, you learn programming. Of course, you can use AI, but you learn. Because my point is, guys, if you want to hack a website, you have to first build a website. If you hack a mobile phone, you have to not build a mobile app, right? So if you want to, of course, basically, if you want to hack hardware, of course, you can hack hardware, even start lockpicking, right? Ideally, in a course like cybersecurity, you have to learn about lockpicking. Anyone knows lockpicking? How to pick a lock, right? So it's not an easy thing to do, but it's fun to do, right? Lockpicking. There's, one of the best places who teaches cybersecurity is SANS. SANS have their own lockpicking course. And if you really wanted to do a lockpicking course, you don't have to go far. This guy is perfect, right? So yeah, 2.6 million, right? Weaves and how to do lockpicking. But if you go and watch SANS hardware security course, hardware security, I think that should be a course, SANS course. Yeah. So they do teach these things. And the thing is, but don't worry, I have most of these courses because I don't want to say many of these things because these are hacked content. In a way, it's unethical. But of course, there are places where you also can, let's search for these things, SANS courses. I'll quickly move to my today's major session, but these things also should be learned and taught. If you go here and check, if you go and check a single course here, let's go and quickly pick a one, cloud security, right? Cloud security essentials. Do you know how much you have to pay for this course? I did like $10,000. It's a lot, but remember, if you even go and read this content, you can learn a lot, right? Learn a lot. And the cool thing is, once you do a course at SANS, you can basically find a job the next day. So it's not just pure the name matters, but they do go really hard into training, and they do everything. Ask you, because my topic is right now is to do things. Right? So we'll do multiple projects. And we are going to share, like as an example, today I'm going to advise you to start writing a blog in medium.com and share your blog post. You can just in the first day, just go to ChatGPT and ask to write a blog post and just share it. That's okay. But buy යන්නත් එක කරලා බලන්න medium එකට යන්න. ලොකු වෙලාවක් යන්නේ තප්පර ගානක් යන්නේ write කරන්න ChatGPT එකෙන් ලියලි වෙලා මොකක් හරි දාන්න. මොකක් හරි ඉගෙන ගත්ත දෙයක්. How to use I don't know, AI, or how to use World Economic Forum to learn cybersecurity. මොනවා topic එකක් ගන්න අරගෙන මේක ගැන ChatGPT එකෙන් පොඩි image එකක් දාලා ලියන්න. But do it as a practice. Only thing in life, if you want to be successful, millionaire, billionaire, raat වෙන්න බුදු වෙන්න ඕන නම් you have to be consistent. That's the only thing. There's no other secrets. බොරුවට අනික් කට්ටිය කොච්චර course දාලා විකුණන්න දුවත් boot camps තියලා. That's one secret. If you want to be bug bounty hunter and do earn million, අතේ ඉඳලා මතක තියාගන්න එකම rule එකයි පැය දෙකක් හැමදාම කිසිම වරදක් කරන්නේ නැතුව හැමදාම කරන්න. හැබැයි එක දෙයක් තියෙනවා, you have to audit yourself. සතියක් ගියාට පස්සේ කරපු දේවල් audit කරලා document එකක් පොඩි journal entry එකක් දාන්න. ඕක කරලා බලන්න මාස 3ක් ඕන දෙයක් කරන්න පුළුවන්. සමහර දේ කරන්න ඕනේ දේවල් කරලා වැඩක් නැහැ. If you want to become, I don't know, the best cricketer in the world, think එක වෙනම strategy එකක් නේ. But whatever you are doing, realistically you can do, right? So, but if you really want to be a good cricketer, only thing is time matters. You have to do things from the early days, young days. But මේ වගේ දේවල්ට හැම කාලයක් නැහැනේ, so you can do, right? So just try to understand. So I'll finish up this section. So we talked about some, I have a few more to share, but I talked about the CVs and all that. So let me stop the session, but let me reiterate the second step, right, about news we talked about. And I told you, okay, news, extract things and learn new things and build up your mind map. Second is build up your portfolio. How to build up your portfolio? By doing things. So end of the day, you need to have a website. We'll create one. We'll create using AI. We'll create using this GitHub and everything. There are so many other places to put your work, right? Showcase කරනවා කියලා අදහස් ගන්න මේ අනුන්ට පේන්න වඩා තමන්ට confidence එක හැදෙන්න. හැබැයි නියම තැනකට දැම්මට පස්සේ ඒකට අවශ්‍ය වඩ network එකක් හැදෙයි. We say your network is your net worth, right? So you have to build up your net worth, which is valuable. So you can see, like, this guy is pretty amazing. So he has done a lot of things and he's presenting things fine. But remember, if this is not your style, you can make it much more simpler. It's up to you, minimalist, whatever. And this is their blog. So they're writing blogs, which is good. Right? So my 2025 stack as a developer. Yeah. So yeah, so follow some of those things. And this is AI guy, of course, yeah, it looks nice. Yeah. And also about him or her, I'm not sure. Sorry. Yeah, it's a him. Ralph from, I'm a developer. AI at 42 Paris. I'm looking for light on AI in Paris. Yeah, so it's all quite good. And 21-year-old guy is still a boy. Currently looking at 42 Paris, blah, blah, blah. And projects, of course, it works. Even it's have like the feature of like a chat engine, right? So it's a interesting thing. So why can't you do that? And most of those things you can do quickly and using cursor and all that. We'll learn if you want to. Otherwise, you can just try it out. But please do that. Today's like make session negative. I know there are guys who live join or you can watch this. If you're not getting anything out of it, there's no value. So make sure you do that. Right? Build a portfolio like that. It won't take a long time. If you really wanted to host it without spending money, you can go to Vercel and go to Vercel and do that. And domain make a free host කරන්න පුළුවන්. And there are so many other places, DigitalOcean and onwards. Yeah. This is a cybersecurity guy. Again, like it's quite interesting. Help. It's good, right? Who am I? Yeah. So then of course you can check who is this guy. Yeah. And GitHub. Yeah. So you can go to, yeah. Of course, quite interesting. Enough. Done. Okay, any questions? I've talked almost for 30 minutes. Yeah, but anyway, this is important stuff. So I don't worry too much about it. Any questions? Any questions, guys? Yeah, so we need to do projects, right? Of course, there are a lot of things that we can do for these 3 sessions. Maybe you are only coming to cybersecurity, so do cybersecurity stuff. And I really value if you do come to the AI. I don't want everyone to work on the research one because it's for startups. But yeah, what to say? You can do that, right? So I'm not saying. So this is just a quick resource that I wanted to give you today, which is this website. So what is it? Just give me a second. Oops, so this is my list of things that I want to show you today. There's one that is really important. Yeah, where's that? Okay, this is no. I think I missed it. Yeah, I'll come back to that a little later on. So anyhow, so I think the point should be clear, right? Okay, now we can move into the next section, which is today's major content. So any questions before that? Hope it's okay, right? That's any question, anytime you can ask a question. Right, let's move on. So now today I really want to talk about blockchain. So we talked about web security. We started talking about bug bounty, and I quickly went through, took you through like why you're doing smart contract hacking. If you can remember, I showed you like code for Arena, right? And maybe probably I have shown you in Unify. So I haven't gone too much detail into things, but today I'll go to real detail into things, right? Now, anyone who is doing blockchain related stuff, blockchain, crypto, and everything. So any experts here? I know no one wants to raise their hands saying that you are experts. Even I'm not expert, but you have some work experience related to blockchain, crypto, smart contracts, or even like NFTs, or maybe, crypto kitties. I don't know anything. Anyone here? It's a fun little world outside. It's a lot of fun stuff, and it's a huge ecosystem. And of course, there are ups and downs. So let's start then. Anyhow, I know most of you, even though you keep quiet, you guys are pretty knowledgeable about these things. But I'm going to assume that you are starting from scratch. So anyway, what is the motivation? Of course, now see there's audit running, which is Lido Finance or Lido Finance. You can earn $100,000. That is simply 20 crore Sri Lankan rupees. කෝටි 20ක් හම්බ කරන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් මේකට සෙට් වුණොත් එම තව දවස් 20කින් ඉවර වෙන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ එකක් කියනවා GTE. ඉතින් මේ අපි කතා කරලා ඕනතරම් පෙන්ලා තියෙනවා මම. දැන් අපි මේක දීප් යමු. කොහොමද මම මේක ගොඩ දාගන්නේ, right? ඉතින් so why shouldn't we, right? So we should do this. You should join the audit and understand things and understand everything. Okay, right. Let's start from a place. And also Immunify, if you go, same logic. There are plenty of places where you can do. So there are a lot of things that we can do. Yeah, you can see here, different white hat leaderboards. And if you go here, there are a lot of audits. There are a lot of audit competitions. Yeah, we come to that later. Right. So let's start with something fun. How many of you know about CryptoKitties? This is one of the other things that we are supposed to develop here in these sessions. I know, like, there were ups and downs in some of those technologies, but I don't think truly nothing will go down. But there are these supply demand curves. Of course, you know economics. But anyone knows about CryptoKitties? Is what I always show when you're talking about starting with this journey. Anyone? Have anyone seen CryptoKitties before? Yeah, so I will quickly go there. So these are NFTs, non-fungible tokens. So basically, there were days where some of these are images truly. These are images, there's nothing more there. If you really go and wanted to buy one, there were days where these things were pretty expensive. But not now, it seems, right? But still, if you go to this website called OpenSea, and if you can remember, there were days you have seen these apes, pictures of වඳුරන්ගේ පින්තූර, right? ඔයගොල්ලෝ මතක ඇති. තාමත් යනවා the best get started. Collector mode. Okay, so they have changed it, is it? Okay, that's fine. Come on. Yeah, so there were days, some of those images were going to few millions, right, of dollars, right? But still this is not gone. තාම සමහර කට්ටිය කියනවා අයියෝ දැන් NFT ඉවරයි crypto ඉවරයි නෑ. එහෙම එකක් නැහැ. මේ ecosystem එක හරි big. You can't even understand the length of it. ඉතින් එතකොට ඔයගොල්ලෝ සමහරවල් මේක මොකටද මේ දැන් මේව ගැන කතා කරන්නේ? This is where you guys have to first understand. If you have to hack things, මම කලින් කිව්ව එකමයි. වෙබ්සයිට් එක හැක් කරන්න වෙබ් සිකියුරිටි වෙබ් ගැන දැනගන්න ඕනේ, HTML දැනගන්න, JavaScript හැක් කරන්න JavaScript දැනගන්න. අපි දැන් කෝඩින් කරමු. මෙතන ඉන්න පුළුවන් කෝඩින් G විදිහට අල්ලපු නැති කෙනෙක් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැත. Now we have the tools to learn coding or whatever within few seconds. Right? We have to only understand fundamentals. Right? If I simply ask this question, ලෝකේ හැදලා තියෙන්නේ ඔයාගේ ඇඟ හැදලා තියෙන්නේ මොන මෙන්ද? දැන් ඔක තේරුම් ගන්න you don't have to become a professor. නැත්නම් biologist කෙනෙක් වෙන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. හැදලා තියෙන්නේ සෛල වලින්. සෛල හැදලා තියෙන්නේ මොනවෙන්ද? atoms වලින්. atoms හැදලා තියෙන්නේ මොනවෙන්ද? atoms හැදලා තියෙන්නේ quantum particles වලින්. quantum particle කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? අන්න ඒක නම් තාම කවුරුත් දන්නේ නැහැ. Anyone knows what is a quantum particle? සමහර කට්ටිය කියන එක wave එකක් කියලා, සමහර කට්ටිය කියනවා ඒක element එකක් කියලා. බුද්ධ ආගමට අනුව නම් ඒ දෙකම නෙමෙයි. A different story. But anyhow, you understand, okay, you can ask those simple questions. This is what everybody asks. Da Vinci, මං කියන්නේ හැමෝම Da Vinci කෙනෙක් වෙන්න. අපි ලංකාවේ නම් අපි කියනවා නැත්නම් ඉන්දියාවේ නම් කියනවා ආචාර්යවරු කියලා, නැත්නම් මේකට කියනවා මේ කවුද දිසාපාමොක්ලා කියලා. බටහිර ලෝකෙ හිටියා Da Vinci. Da Vinci වෙනස තමයි Da Vinci දැන් Da Vinci ලා හරි අඩුයි. කියන්නේ අපි බෙදාගෙන වෙන් කරගෙන තියෙනවා ලයිෆ් එක. I'm going to talk about Leonardo da Vinci, right? Leonardo and Pythagoras and all these guys. There are so many other people. These guys were pure researchers. ඉස්සරට researchers like හැමෝටම research කෙනෙක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඔන්න ඔක ඔලුවට ගන්න. හරි. එහෙනම් කවදාවත් boxes දාගන්න එපා that I'm not a mathematician. No, you all are mathematicians. ඒක ඔයාලට ඕන ටික පාවිච්චි කරන්න. අනිත් ටික පැත්තකින් තියන්න. ඕන නැති ඒවා අල්ලන්න යන්න එපා. Right? ඔයගොල්ලෝ partial differential PDEs ඕන නැත්තම් ඒවා පාවිච්චි කරන්න යන්න එපා. PDEs ඕන වෙන්නේ නැහැ ඔයාලට. Partial differential equations. Okay, දැන් නැහැ මෙතන. Yeah. හැබැයි ඒ දෙක පැත්තකින් තියන්න. හැබැයි ඕන ටික ගන්න. Right? But if you are a finance guy, අපි මේක end of the session you will understand, you can create a bot, right, to do crypto, I don't know what is called arbitration or whatever. You can do if you want. Then you learn a little bit of maths. But again, you can ask ChatGPT to create the maths for you. That's fine. That's okay. This is how we use AI. There's nothing wrong in doing it. I don't see any problem with that. But only thing is understand the basics. Okay, let's come back. Right. So coming back to, so I just want to say how big this is, right? So ups and downs and it's okay, right? So if you carefully go and look at this NFTs in OpenSea.io, we'll create this. We'll create a project to create some of this stuff. Let's go and see. There's a lot of things happening here. You can do art here. දැන් හොඳම කාලේ ගන්න සිංහල වීඩියෝස් හදලා දාන්න පුළුවන් මේකට මියුසික් දාන්න පුළුවන් AI music මේ ගොඩක් කට්ටිය දානවා, right? So if you go here for art, we'll select some generative. Okay, you have AI art, lot of AI arts coming in. මේක පොඩ්ඩක් වැඩි වෙන එකක් වගේ pixel art එකක්. ඉතින් ගිල බලමු අපි. Then you can see this stuff. ඉතින් පොඩ්ඩක් check කරලා බැලුවොත් එහෙම මේ ලොකුම ගණන් ඒවා නෙමෙයි. මේක කීයක්ද හිතන්නේ? Someone please මේ පොඩි image එක කීයක් විතරද කියලා හිතන්නේ. මේ දන්නේ වෙන්නේ සමහරලාට sorry about that. I'm talking for every day everybody is saying yeah. Yep. This is almost $900. ලංකාවේ සල්ලි ලක්ෂ 3ක් විතර එනවා මේ image එක. මේක ඉතින් copy විනාඩි තප්පරයක් හරි copy එකක් ගන්න. හැබැයි what is the difference? We'll dive so many other things into here later on, but these are called NFTs. The difference is these are in a blockchain. Now, everybody asks the question, what is a blockchain? I'll answer that. Because blockchain එකේ තියෙන්නේ, the thing is, these are called non-fungible. Fungible means you can share. ඔයා ගන්න ඔයාගේ රුපියල් 10ක්. ඒ රුපියල් 10 අරගෙන ඔයාගේ අම්මත් එක්ක තාත්තත් එක්ක share කරලා තියෙනකොට you don't have a problem because $10 වටනකම එකමයි. ඉතින් කොලේ මොන කොලේ වුණත් අදාළ නැහැ. Non-fungible means you can't share. I mean, like, it's not shareable sort of. Because අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඩා වින්චිගේ මොනාලිසා ගත්තොත් එහෙම මොනාලිසා එකේ fake ඕන තරම් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්, right? But what we need is the original Mona Lisa. Because original Mona Lisa, the picture is sold. I don't know who owns it right now. Owns it? Artist Da Vinci, of course. That's Pansiganangwala, medium. I don't know who owns it. It's valued at millions, right? If you really want to go and check. You make an original. කොහොමද originality එක measure කරන්නේ? ඔයගොල්ලෝ films උත් දැකලා තියෙනවා fake copies ගැන හදපු films අනම්මන. Right? So what happens in the blockchain is if you really want, you can make sure that is not repeatable or not copyable. So we learn that how we do that. We have to create a smart contract for that, and there's a smart contract, and also there's a standard called ERC standard, right? Ethereum link we'll come to that. So and then we can create this thing called non-fungible tokens. Make it a logical value එක තමයි අර අපි ලංකාවේ නම් මතකයි මම දන්නේ අපි බේස්බෝල් එච්චර ෆේමස් ස්පෝර්ට් එකක් නෙමෙයිනේ. කාලයක් කැන්ඩෝස් වලින් දුන්නා කැන්ඩෝස් ක්‍රිකට් ස්ටිකර්ස්ද අර මතකයි අපි නම් මරාගත්ත පොඩි කාලේ මේකට මෙන්න මේ ස්ටිකර්ස් වලට රයිට් සල්ලි වලටත් විකුණුවා මේක ලංකාවේ මම 80s වල එක්කෙනෙක් ඉතින් මම දන්නේ ඔයගලන්ට මේක වෙනවාද කියලා වෙලා අසම් මමින් දාලා තියෙනවා මේකේ සමහර ඒවා මේවා ටිකක් ලොකු ගණන් වලට ගියා ඒ කාලේ හැටියට රයිට් ඉතින් ලෝකෙ පැත්තෙන් ගත්තොත් එimhe there are baseball stickers baseball cards තියෙනවා මේ දැන් අපි මොනවද මේ Minecraft නේ මතක නැහැ baseball cards වගේ තියෙනවා ලොකු ගණන් වලට යනවා value හරි ඉතින් ලොකු ගණන් වලට මේවා විකිනෙනවා සමහර ඩොලර්ස් 10000 වලට ගියවත් තියෙනවා sports cards pro there are websites for this you can see right so it's pretty expensive $24 and all that so ඒතර වෙන්නේ මේකේ තියෙන අර value එකක් තියෙනවා මේක sign කරලා තියෙන්නේ කුමාර සංගක්කාර or whatever so you get the value that's called this non-fungible token that's said enough right I'm not going to talk too much about it but please understand there's ecosystem there's a huge ecosystem for these crypto related things right අපිට මේ currency එකක් කියලා කියන්න බෑ මේකට token එකක් කියලා කියන්න පුළුවන් but anyway what is this is based on a technology called blockchain right blockchain simulator I think there are simulators blockchain demo this is the best place to learn about blockchain I'll quickly go through not taking a long time so let's try to showcase this okay so to learn about blockchain this is like a 10-minute session about cryptography and everything this is one of the coolest areas that you can do research and fun stuff and products and earn money it's called cryptography right so but the biggest problem in the world is we have secrets හැම එකටම හොරයක් තියෙනවා right කවුරු මෙතන ඉන්නවා නම් හොර හිතක් නැති කවුරු හරි I don't believe it right everybody unless otherwise you are a very religious person yeah right so හොර තියෙනවා ඉතින් ඒකට කියන්නේ සමහර වෙලාවට ලස්සන නම් දාගෙන තියෙනවා we say privacy right our confidence or not confidence confidential matter right and lot of things and of course you can't blame for having some confidential things or privacy related things in with yourself because it's you and it is a human thing right so yeah animals are not even very sorry ඒක මම දන්නේ animal rights ගැන කට්ටිය නම් කියනවා එහෙම තියෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා වෙලා but anyway it's not a story for today right so how do you secure information එතකොට තමයි අපි එන්න ඕනේ මේ cryptography කියන subject එකට ඉතින් ඔක මුලින්ම උනේ if you go and check Julius Caesar messages යවේ Caesar cipher එකෙන් ඉතින් මෙතන අපේ site එකක් තියෙනවා මෙන්න මම හිතන්නේ කීපයක් තියෙනවා yeah Caesar cipher. මේක තමයි Julius Caesar පාවිච්චි කරේ. Julius Caesar message එකක් යවන්න ඕන වුණාට පස්සේ he used something called encryption mechanism. ඉතින් එයා කරේ alphabet එක අපි තුමු ABC නම් A වෙනකොට C දැම්මා. ඉතින් ABC යවන්න ඕනේ CDA. ඉතින් අපි තාම ABC මේක තමයි යවන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් මේක අපි position shift කරාම එකක් shift කරොත් ඉතින් B නේ A වෙනකොට B වෙනකොට C. ඉතින් hello කියලා යවන්න කියන්නේ if mmp. ඉතින් මේක කෙනෙකුට decipher කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් මේක තමයි අපි දන්න වෙස්ටර්න් වර්ල්ඩ් එකේ තියෙන පළවෙනි සයිඩ්. ඊස්ටර්න් වර්ල්ඩ් එකේ තියෙනවා මේක ඉන්දියාවලත් මේක තිබිලා තියෙනවා. right, but we talk about mainly about Caesar stuff, right? Julius Caesar කියන්නේ පොරක්. හරි. එතකොට Caesar cipher එකේ hello. ඉතින් මේක අපිට පුළුවන් හිතා ගන්න බැරි විදිහට මේක වෙනස් කරන්න පුළුවන්. shift කරන්න පුළුවන් multiple lines. ඉතින් මේක අපි දැන්ට මේක හිතන් ඉන්නේ ABCD syllabus එකේ. එයා පාවිච්චි කරේ Greek alphabet එක. අපි දැන් මේක basic concept එක මේකයි. I hope you all understand. This is called encryption algorithm. And what is the secret here? Okay, secret එක මොකක්ද? What is the secret? What is the secret here? The number of shifts and even the algorithm. ඉතින් ගොඩ කාලෙට කලින් ඔය මේ රෝමේ මේ බයිබල් එක සම්බන්ධනුත් තිබ්බා. බයිබල් එකේ අපි දෙනවා නම්බර් එකක් කියනවා. 6 7 8. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙන්න මේ පිටුව පෙරලන්න මේ ඡේදයට යන්න get the word. And then end of the day there's something called kill Lakmal or something. You get the message, right? That's called encryption and decryption. This is the whole invention of the idea of cryptography. So now everyone talks about post-quantum cryptography. ඒකෙත් ඇති මගුලක් නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ quantum science ආවට පස්සේ අපි දන්නවා cryptography වලට sorry වෙනවා කියලා, right? එතකොට මොකද කරන්න කියන තමයි post quantum cryptography එකේ කතා කරන්නේ. So we'll talk about it later, right? So anyway, so in cryptography there are few things. We talk about few things. It's called AAA, right? So not this. First one is authentication. Sorry. CIA නෑ අපි මේක ගන්න පුළුවන් කැලි කීපයක් අපි ගමු CIA ගමු confidentiality, integrity and availability. Confidentiality කියන්නේ එකක්, integrity කියන්නේ එකක්, availability කියන්නේ තව එකක්. Right? So this is CIA. ඉතින් මෙතනදී අපි basic cryptographic algorithm එකකින් බලන්නේ ඔක්කොම ටික. බොහෝ වෙලාවට confidentiality and integrity කියන එක. ඉතින් ඒකෙදි අපි පාවිච්චි කරන එක algorithm එකක් මේ hashing කියලා. හරි සරලයි මේක. නිකන් blend එකක් වගේ. You just put the difference between hash is that this is not recoverable. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි blend එකට ගත්තොත් එහෙම blend එකකට අපි දන්නවා juice හදන්න අඹ ටික දැම්මට පස්සේ හරි we put all your apples and oranges and stuff. You can't get the oranges back, but you can get the juice to orange. No, it's wrong. So encryption, decryption just encryption, one sided. Okay, that's my hashing on it. So things say kill Lakmal on this date and something like that and blah blah. So you get a hash. So from this hash we can exactly ensure this is this message. Api making podi බිඳුවක් හරි වෙනස් කරොත් තමයි hash එක vastly difference. ඔන්නක තමයි hash කියලා කියන්නේ. ටක් ගාලා එමු ඊළඟට. Don't worry if you don't understand everything. ඉතින් අපි කරන්න යන්නේ ultimately we build something called a marvelous system called blockchain. අපි ඊට පස්සේ බලමු මොකද්ද මේ කරන්න යන්නේ කියලා. ඉතින් මේකද ඊට අපි කරන්නේ block එකක් හදනවා. block එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ information store කරන්න පුළුවන් unit එකක්. ඉතින් මේකේ number එකක් තියෙනවා, nonce කියලා එකක් තියෙනවා. Don't worry too much. This is the first block. ඊට පස්සේ වෙන්නේ first block. Right, so then you get some hash, of course, and this has to go through a process called mining. Red color we mine it. ඒක පොඩි process එකක්. Don't worry. මේ හැදුවයි කියලා පස්සේ කතා කරමු. මේක අපි දැන් ආයෙ මම පොඩ වෙනස් කරන්නේ මේ grammarly එකෙන් check කරපේ. හැදුවා ආයෙ මේක වෙනස් වුණා. ආයෙ මම mine කරනවා. End of the day it generate a hash. අර blend එකෙන් hash එකක් එනවා. ඉතින් මේකෙන් චූටි තව වෙනස් කරත් මේ hash එක වෙනස් වෙනවා. ඉතින් මේ hash එක තියෙන්නර වෙනස අඳුර ගන්න. මොකක් හරි කරපු ගමන් මචං මේ original එක නෙමෙයි කියලා අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන්. හරි අර කියන්නේ අපිට එක මූණේ පොඩි ඉරක් ගියත් ළමයාගේ දැනගන්න පුළුවන් ඔය අම්මා අවුලෙන්නේ ඉන්නේ මචං අන්න ඒ concept එක අර අම්මට පුළුවන් ළමයා ගැන කියන්න අයි පුතේ මොකද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ what happened to you guys or mate bro what happened that because of all the potential things to look at but make a digitized world again you can't do that. That's where you need a hash. So that's the valued thing about hashes. The hash algorithms ගොඩක් තියෙනවා SHA-1, SHA-2, SHA-3, SHA-2, 5, 6 ගොඩක් තියෙනවා, right? Anyway, we'll come to that later. So this is called the block. අපිට වැඩක් නැහැ block එක, we go to blockchain. ඉතින් blockchain කියලා කියන්නේ මෙන්න මේ කතාව. මේක amazing. So who invented this? Lot of people were involved. ඉතින් මේක හොඳටම වැඩගත් එක තමයි Anyone knows about this guy? Satoshi Nakamoto? Who is Satoshi Nakamoto? Right? මෙයා කියලා කියනවා කට්ටිය, but no one knows exactly. Still it is not really verified. මේක කියලා කියවන්න බලා සමහර කට්ටිය හිතනවා මෙයා වෙලා ඇමරිකන් ගවර්න්මන්ට් එක, සමහර කට්ටිය කියනවා මේක ශ්‍රී ලංකන් ගවර්න්මන්ට් එක. නෑ ඔයත්ම නෑ. එහෙම කියන්නේ නෑ. right? සමහර මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂෙන්වත් පුළුවන්. right? මේ YouTube එකේ block කරලා ඉදන්නේ but you know, so who knows? Maybe it's you, right? Or maybe it's me, right? I don't know. Or maybe it's an entity, or maybe this can be aliens, right? But anyhow, this is the guy who created Bitcoin. The Bitcoin කියන්නේ මෙන්න මගේ blockchain එකක්. දැන් බලමු මොකද්ද blockchain එක කියලා කියන්නේ. Blockchain කියන්නේ you keep records. So this is my node. ඉතින් මම මේක දානවා මෙන්න මේ network එකට. දාලා ඉවරලා මම මේක mine කරනවා. mine කරාම මේ network එකේ එක node එකක් පිරලා තියෙනවා. තව කවුරු හරි මේක node එකක් දානවා. This is ABC's node. අර මුලින්ම එක මගේ මේක දෙවෙනි එක්කෙනා එකත් mine කරනවා. ඊට පස්සේ this is XYZ node. So මම කියලා මම දානවා. nodes එකක් දානවා. හරි information දානවා. ඉතින් මේක බැලුවබැලමට මතක තියාගන්න මේවා ඔක්කොම confidential නෑ. හැම ඕනකට පේනවා මේක. It's okay. එහෙම දැනට worry වෙන්න එපා ගැන. මේක හැමෝටම බලන්න පුළුවන් කියන එක ගැන worry වෙන්න එපා. මේ ඔක්කොම mine කරනවා. දැන් mine කරලා මේ blockchain එක තියෙනවා. මේකේ value එක තියෙන්නේ integrity. So අපි මේ document එක දැන් හදලා ඉවරයි. හරි? So අපි මේ document එක හදලා අපේ secrets ටික දාලා මේක හදලා තියෙනවා. මගේ information දාලා හදලා තියෙනවා. මගේ ජීවිතය කියන්නේ මේක ඔක්කොම ටික ලියලා තියෙනවා. හරි? හැමෝම කියන්නේ එක එක ආවිල්ලා අපේ ඒවා change කරලා තියෙනවා කියලා. That will never happen in a blockchain. මම කියනවා I am Superman. මේක කියනවා ලක්මාල් කියනවා මේක. තව කෙනෙක් කියනවා I am Batman. මේක කියන්නේ නිමල්. අමල් සමහර වගේනේ. අපි දැන් mine කරලා තියෙනවා. We have mined it. and මේ record එක ලෝකෙ කොහේ හරි තැනක තියෙනවා. දැනට ලෝකෙ කොහෙවත් නැහැ. මේක check කරොත් එහෙම හොයාගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන. පොතක ලියලා තිබ්බොත් පොත අප්ඩේට් කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඔය කම්පියුටර් මේක දාලා තිබ්බොත් note එක if this is your computer somebody can change it. That's hacking. This was a big problem for years, right? But when blockchain come, when cryptography came, when hashing came in, මේ ඔක්කොම එකට දාලා researchers, scientists created this thing called blockchain. Now some bugger මගේ තරහකාරයෙක් කියලා කියනවා I am Superman. මෙයාට මට කින්ඩියක් වගේ දානවා මූ මොන Superman ද කියලා joke එකක් දානවා. He is whatever, right? Bad thing, right? So then මේක දැම්ම ගමන් මොකද වෙන්නේ? You can see the whole blockchain get ugly or red color. I hope you got the point. එතකොට මට කියන්න පුළුවන් ටක් ගාලා මචං කවුරු හරි මගේ බ්ලොක් එක වෙනස් කරලා තියෙනවා. මේක හැමෝටම රෙප්‍රසන්ටඩ් වෙනවා. දැන් කාටද කියන්න පුළුවන් ඉතින් මචං ඔක මාළුකු දෙයක්ද? හැකරට පුළුවන් මේක කළා මයින් කරන්න. ඔව් පුළුවන්. කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. මේ ඔක්කොම මයින් කරන්න පුළුවන්. I think කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. එතකොට මේ සොලියුෂන් එක වැඩක් තියනවද? යකෝ ඌ හැක් කළා ලක්මා සුපර්මෑන් නෙමෙයි දැන් ඌ you know zigzag man or whatever. So that's done. So what the hell? Or what the f? But the problem is the true blockchain is in this way. මේ බ්ලොක් එක තියෙනවා ලෝකේ කම්පියුටර්ස් 10000ක විතර ලක්ෂයක විතර. හරි? So මේක තියෙනවා මගේ කම්පියුටර් එකේ, මේක නිමල්ගේ කම්පියුටර් එකේ, කමල්ගේ කම්පියුටර් එකේ, ඩොනල්ඩ් ට්‍රම්ප්ගේ කම්පියුටර් එකේ හැමතැනම තියෙනවා. ඉතින් I am Superman කියලා ලියලා දාලා කවුරු හරි මේක වෙනස් කරයි. වෙනස් කරාට they can't go and change the whole world. This is the core logic of the blockchain. එතකොට we say when you put something to the blockchain you can never change it. ඕක තමයි the original logic. බලන්න value of thinking. දැන් මේක ඉගෙන ගන්න තියෙන එකක් තමයි blockchain ඉගෙන ගන්න. ඒක හරි. දැන් මේක අපි කවදාවත් හිතන්න බයනේ. ඉතින් සයන්ටිස්ට්ලා කරේ තමයි මේ හිතන එක. රොකට් එක යවන්න පුළුවන්. අපි hina වෙනවා. මොන මගුලකටද ඉලොන් මස්ක් මේ හදට නෙමෙයි මාස් වලට රොකට් යවන්නේ. ඉතින් ඔය thinking එකම තමයි මේ අපිට ඒ කාලේ හිතන්න නැත්නම් අපේ ලංකාවේ හිටපු මිනිස්සු ටික මොන බෝඩ් ටිකක්ද මේ අපේ සල්ලි වේදම් කර රොකට් යවන්නේ හදට. හදට රොකට් එක ගියේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. There is a problem that no one knows about. But the thing is you don't just send the rocket to the moon. You develop the technology. ඒ technology තමයි අපි use කරන්නේ. AC හදන්නත් පාවිච්චි කරන rocket technology. Right. ඔයගේ life එකේ simple ගෑන් ළමයට message එකක් යවන්නත් rocket technology පාවිච්චි කරනවා. So that's not bad. So the thing is we are improving ourselves. I hope you understand. So logic එක තමයි වැදගත්. හිතන විදිය වැදගත්. So Da Vinci වගේ දිසාපාමොක් වගේ දෙපැත්ත balance වෙන්න write about your concept. These concepts are $1 billion concepts. හැබැයි ඒක ගැන work out කරන්න. හිතන්න එපා මම අයියෝ මම disable මම දන්නේ නැහැ මුකුත්ම Don't think. This is the problem, especially our Sri Lankan mindset. අපි පුරුදු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ just use whatever the F that is given to us. ඊට පස්සේ හිතනවා we are the guys, you know. මම මේ පිටරට හිටපු ඉඳලා ටික දවසක් මම එහෙම කියන කතාවක් නෙමෙයි. මේක මම හැමදාම කියන කතාවක්. හැමදාම මමත් එහෙම තමයි. We have to start changing. ඉතින් attitude එකේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. ඔක Indians at Indian buggers servers are also same, but now they are creating stuff. Invention, innovation is very important, and go through the full roadmap. එදා මම මේ roadmaps කතා කරන්නේ, workflows කතා කරන්නේ. So now it's a good time to do that. Right. Anyhow, yeah, enough. So I hope you understand the base concept. If you don't get the whole thing, don't worry. Get the base, very simple concept. That is that if you wanted to have something which is unchangeable, right? Integrity is always guaranteed, and that's the hell that you use a blockchain. Any questions? Any questions? Clarify if you haven't done. Sorry if it is the same thing that you all know, but this is very important. That's why I quickly went through. But next time, what I'm going to do is, with our lesson slides, we are going to develop a block or smart contract in a blockchain. අපි currency හදනවා. ඔයාලට පුළුවන් මම හදනවා ලක්මාල්ගේ currency එක. You can develop your own currency called whatever with your name. Fund එකට හදන්න. Elon Musk හැදුවා නම් currency එකක් එයාගේ නමට නෙමෙයි හැදුවේ අර dog currency එක තියෙන්නේ. So why can't we? Right. Yeah. So it's doable. It's a freedom is there to do anyone to do that. Yeah. I hope it is clear. So make a deck. I mean, this technology was not invented by Satoshi, but this concept was seen by Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever the researchers or whoever aliens, they have created a token. Right? මෙන්න මේක තමයි ඔය token එක. So we come to this in a different day in very detail. මේ තමයි transactions වෙන. $25 Darcy to Bingley, Elizabeth to blah blah blah. මේ ටික හැමතැනම ලෝකේ තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මේක දැන් මට කියලා කියන්න බෑ. යකෝ ඩාසි දුන්නේ බින්ග්ලිට $25 නෙමෙයි $50ක් දුන්නා මට 50ක් ගෙවපිය කියලා මේක මයින් කරලා කියන්න බෑ. මොකද මේක වෙනස් කරපු ගමන්ම අනිත් වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ මේ. හැම එකෙම තියෙන 25. මේක මම මයින් කරලා හිතන් ඉන්නවා 50යි no worries කියලා. But see, even this blockchain has a problem. I assume for a moment I can go and do the mining and do all the changes. Yeah, but it won't work. So suddenly Satoshi, for a moment I'll assume this is a guy, Japanese guy, right? Realize එකපාරට මූට බල්බ් එක පත් වුණා. මචං හොඳම දේ තමයි we'll create a currency. Can anyone tell me එහෙම වෙන්න සතෝෂිට බල්බ් පත් වෙන්න හේතුව මොකද්ද? Why it was such an amazing thing? Because every bank is a crooked entity. මම මේ බයින්නම තරහැම කියනවා නෙමෙයි. ලංකා බැංකුව වෙන්න පුළුවන් ඕන බැංකුවක්. උන් හොරු, පට්ට හොරු. Right? So මේක මේ තරහට කියන එක නෙමෙයි. මේක logically කියන එකක්. හරි. But centralized entities are always they are crooks. Right? මේක ලෝකේ හැමතැනම පිළිගත් සත්‍යයක්. Right? In decentralization, මේක රිචඩ් ක්‍රූක් කියන වෙන කෙනෙක් හරි ඒක නෙමෙයි මම කියන්න ඕනේ. හර මේ the problem is when something is managed by, I think best example, people love Barack Obama, but Barack Obama 2008 he saved all those bad financial organizations. Right? මම නිකන් වචන ලියන්නේ මේක උගන්ට documents ටික ගන්න පුළුවන් organization ලෝකේ තියෙන නරකම බැංකු ටික ඔක්කොම බේරගත්ත බැරක් ඔබාමා. Right? ඉතින් financial crisis එකේදී. ඉතින් මේ වගේ දේවල් ලෝකෙ වෙන්නේ bad entities හින්දා. මේක ලෝකෙ හැමෝම පිළිගන්න එකක්. Bankruptcy of Lehman Brothers to Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch. මේක එක කම්පැනියක්වත් හොඳ කම්පැනියක් කියලා හිතන්න එපා. කවුරු හරි බලන්න නැත්නම් YouTube එකේ ගිහලා නැත්නම් දැන් ඕන තැනක බලන්න පුළුවන් Wolf of Wall Street බලන්න. Right? So then you can understand these people are pretty bad people. Right? Wolf of Wall Street, and there are a few other movies, right? So start watching them. Then you'll understand how this finance එක නැත්නම් අපි ගත්තොත් එම share market එක කියලා කියන්නේ just how many of you have seen this one? Risk return curve for how many of you plays poker here? I do play poker. Anyone? Poker, share market, and fixed deposits. So this is very important to understand today. We බලමු මේකේ ගන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා image එකක්. Might not get the same. This is called frontier curve. මේක මට එහෙම ගන්න බැරි වෙයි. Yeah. So Yeah, I'll show it to you later. I haven't prepared for this one. But anyway, I think you get the point, right? Or you gets the point. Now, if you go and get anything that you do in finance is always up can suduak. There's nothing to discuss about it. How I can share market can suduak nemekila. It's a suduak, right? So there's nothing to question about it. Only thing is we have to worry about risk and return. So if you get a fixed deposit, risk is very less. So the return is also less. And when you talk about poker, poker again gambling matamai. You have logic strategies. If you've never played poker, it's a card game. It's a wonderful game. There's a lot of fun in it. Start playing it. Don't play for money, right? There are really great stuff to learn on poker, right? So so it's a wonderful game. There are two variations, or there are multiple variations. According to that, you can So this is how it plays. You can go for like $50,000 pots. These are called pots, right? So you can play, and there are these fun guys who are playing there. And that's fun thing about poker is that this is one of the top guys called Daniel, right? He had played poker for last 20 years and earned a lot of money, right? The concept is that you need to manage your risk and return. And this, of course, there's something called poker face. Rihanna Sindhu poker face kila. Right? Today, I'm showing a lot of things because this can be very valuable later on if you are watching these videos, right? Poker face video Lady Gaga, sorry, Lady Gaga. Poker face කියලා කියන්නේ ඒ කියන්නේ කාටට පුළුවන් නම් poker face එකක් දාගෙන ඉන්න අනික කට්ටියට තේරුම් ගන්න බෑ. poker face කියලා කියන්නේ මේ සමහර කට්ටිය දාගෙන යනවා පොඩි අර කොවිඩ් වලට නෙමෙයි සමහර කට්ටිය මූණක් දාගෙන යනවා. මූණක් කියලා කියන්නේ මේ දාගෙන යනවා පොඩි මොකද ඒ කියන්නේ සමහරට මේ මූණ වහගෙන එනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ මූණෙන් කියන්න පුළුවන් හොඳ කාඩ් එකක් ආවම ඒස් දැක්කාම මූණ හිනාවක් යනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ටෙල්ස් කියලා වෙලා. ඉතින් එතන poker face කියලා කියන්නේ සමහර මිනිස්සු ඉන්නවා කිසිම දෙයක් එළියට පෙන්වන්නේ නැහැ. It's quite good in a way. You will not understand මෙයා මොනවද හිතන්නේ මම මරන්න ඉඳන් ඉන්නවද මට මාව බදින්න ඉඳන් ඉන්නවද so you don't know anything here. And so anyway, so go back to our problem. So real world risk and return. So poker කියන්නේ game එකක් risk එක හරි වැඩි return එකක් වැඩි. Truly it's like some people can say it's true gambling, but it's not true gambling. That's strategies. Yeah. So then, of course, you have share market, somewhere in between, big risk, forex market, forex trading. Today we'll talk about a little bit about share market. Sorry, crypto markets. You can still look at the risk and return factor, high risk. Right. Anyhow, going back to our original story, Satoshi realized now is the best place to attack the centralized finance entities. And then, my goodness, he created the first known decentralized currency, which is ideally not controlled by any government, not US government, not UK government, not Sri Lankan government. It's just in a smart contract, Bitcoin smart contract. It's just a code. If you go and check this site, bsvblockchain.org, or there are a few other places you can find the code. You can exactly find, probably not here. So I really want to go and get the smart contract code. Exactly. Not in the Ether chain because it's not a EVM one. Probably this is the place. If you have any questions, please do ask. So probably this one, but we'll have a, later we can have a deeper look at the exact Bitcoin smart contract, right? Anyhow, going back to the story, and he implemented in a blockchain, right? So he had his own Bitcoin implementation of blockchain as a Bitcoin as a blockchain. But remember, these days we don't have much of Bitcoin blockchain. We have something called Ethereum, and there are so many others like Solana and several other. We make products on top of those, but this is a separate blockchain called Bitcoin blockchain, and it has a smart contract as well. And basically, people have earned billions of dollars out of Bitcoin. Still the most heavily used currency. It's not a stable currency. It's like a virtual or a cryptocurrency. And that's one other thing that I forgot to mention. This mining process is where that people like you and me can have fun. If you have a GPU machine, you can connect your computer. Otherwise, there's no මේක වැලියු බෑක් නෑනේ. අයි මම මගුලට කනෙක්ට් කරලා my computer එකේ blockchain එකක් තියාගන්නේ. මට අවශ්‍යතාවයක් නෑ. එකම දේ මේක දැම්මකට mining කියලා process එක. We'll go in details, hardware details. එතනත් hack කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So idea is if you have a computer, if you have these details, you can start mining it using your GPU. වෙලාව යනවා වට CPU එකේ mine කරන්න බෑ. mine කරන්න පුළුවන් පොඩ්ඩයි mine කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් සල්ලි හම්බෙන්නේ නෑ. The idea was so fabulous when somebody wants to work with this blockchain, Bitcoin blockchain, and help the process to keep the block, say PIA, මගේ computer එක ලක්මාගේ computer එක PIA මේ blockchain එකම තියාගෙන ඉඳීමට මම mine කරන උදව් කරන හින්දා මගේ use computers දීලා basically I get a lot of money, right? So even I earn money out of doing some mining. Still you can do it if you have a good computer, but remember there's things to think about. We'll talk about those things later. And of course, if you search for blockchain or mining farms, there are these computers that even, you know, my goodness, it's so amazing, right? So this is like, oh my goodness, that advertisement, sorry about it. Okay. So this is like a place where, you know, this guy is going there. Okay, so you can see it's a huge place. So you don't have like this computers sort of things, but basically it can be a motherboard and then set of GPUs. And my goodness, a lot of people have earned a lot of money. You can say like this is going to be the technology that will be there forever. These things changes, but thing is like when you have the time, the right time, crypto mining, not only Bitcoin mining, crypto mining is a thing. So mining is needed to run any blockchain, ideally, right? But there are cases where they use different strategies. Like Ethereum is a different strategy. Later on, we can learn about it. There's less money to earn there, but still is a huge thing. It's a big thing, right? For these NFTs too, and we'll talk later. This thing called DeFi, DAO, DAO, and so many other things are there. Yeah. So anyway, just to have a quick look at what's running around. Yeah. So you can see there are so many chains in the world. If you go to this DeFi Llama website, still we can find the biggest blockchain in the world is Ethereum, right? It's not Bitcoin, but of course, if you ask what is the biggest, the value of cryptocurrency, it is still Bitcoin. So this is $81 billion. Bitcoin, it's, I'm not really sure. This is about something else, I believe, right? We'll come to that later anyway. Maybe they have passed. I'm not really sure, but no, this is not the amount of the financial value. This is probably value of the blockchain itself. We'll talk about it. But anyway, you can see Ethereum is the biggest blockchain, and then you have Solana, then you have Bitcoin, and then there are so many other Tron base and multiples, right? And these chains also, again, you can break it up to non-EVM. EVM is Ethereum-based virtual machines, and then these things are not Ethereum-based. You can see Bitcoin has a larger percentage than Solana, blah and blah and blah. And EVM or Ethereum is the biggest one. And today we'll talk about the developer roadmap as well. So Ethereum, we use a language called Solidity. It's a quite simple language. And Solana use something called, yep, anyone? You know what Solana uses? Bitcoin uses C++, if I'm not mistaken. And Solana uses something called Rust. Right. Okay. So we are going to learn about these things. But of course, you can see there's a lot of information. I'm not going to go straight away to all this, but we'll be touching on these things every day hereafter. Right. So now I hope it's clear. So this is the birth of true blockchain, which is Bitcoin. Right. Then suddenly everything burst out. Now we are seeing so much of things happening. So many organizations like Binance to Coinbase and so many other places are doing, and of course NFTs, CryptoKitties, and so many other things. Right? That's everything that is happening. So now coming back to cybersecurity, why these guys needs security guys like you and me? Because when they implement something like a cryptocurrency or a non-fungible token or anything, decentralized finance protocol, මෙන්න මේක හොඳට තේරුම් ගන්න. පුන් එකපාරක් ලියලා blockchain එකට දැම්මට පස්සේ ආයි ගලවන්න බෑ. දැම්මොත් දැම්මා. change කරන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි ඒක හරි අමාරුයි. ඒක තමයි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම hacker one එකට ගියාම ඩොලර්ස් 50000 වැඩිම ගෙවන්නේ. මේක ලක්ෂ ගණන් ගෙවන්නේ. සමහර මිලියන ගණන් ගෙවන්නේ. මේක ඒකට වඩා ඒ development process එක හරි වෙනස්. blockchain එකට දැම්මම අපෝ ගන්න ලේසි නැහැ. වෙනස් කරනවා සම්පූර්ණ structure එක වෙනස් කරනවා. It's going to cost you a lot. I hope you understand at least the basic principle. That's why smart contracts කියන්නේ අපි ලියන code එක අපි එකපාරක් ලියවා මේක දැම්මට පස්සේ blockchain එකට it goes everywhere in the decentralized environment. ඉතින් අපිට පුළුවන් නම් තප්පරෙන් තප්පරට වෙනස් කරන්න මෙහෙමයක් අවශ්‍යත් නැහැ නේ අපිට. Right? So remember there are so much of process. ඉතින් මෙතන වර්ග දෙකක් තියෙනවා. එකක් තමයි hack කරන්න පුළුවන්. Smart contract එකක් hack කරන්න පුළුවන්. Already run වෙන එකක්. ඒකටත් සල්ලි ගෙවනවා. දැන් මේ code for in එකේ තියෙන audits. දැන් මේ companies වෙනස තියෙන්නේ මේ company එක මේ මෙච්චර සල්ලි දෙන එක තමයි මේ audit එකේ වෙනස තමයි hack එකට වඩා these guys before they go and implement this in a real blockchain දැන් මේ company එක නම් Lido Finance හරි අපි log වෙමු log කියලා බලමු ටක් ගාලා you guys can of course okay. Yeah, then api මේකට join වෙමු. Yeah, you can see if we carefully quickly read it, now you have a better understanding. CSM version 2 is a permissions taking module. මේක තේරෙන්නේ නැත්නම් don't worry, you can chat GPT. Upgrade enabling customized operator types. Entry gates, strikes, EIP 7th, whatever. So it's a finance organization, decentralized finance organization. People who don't understand, these are also like banks. But there's no single crooked bank. එක හොර බැංකුවක් නැහැ. Like so it can be one organization, but it's very hard to do these things. අර හොර වැඩ කරන්න බෑ මොකද everything is crystal clear. මේක කරගන්න බැරිම නෑ. හැබැයි අමාරුයි. ඉතින් මේකේ තියෙන වැදගත්කම තමයි there are things called flash loans. I don't know how many of you heard about flash loans. In the world of cryptocurrency, it's easier to get these loans than to get a loan from a real bank, right? So because you have to give so much of documentation, right, in a real bank, but not for flash loans, right? So, but of course, again, there's a process, but this is faster to get, easy to get, and you can get these loans and probably invest them, do something called arbitration. There are so many things that you can do, right? So there are platforms like Chainlink who supports it. We're going to learn about it, and so that's what these organizations do. But anyhow, let's go and say like this, the price pool is $100,000. That's a lot of money. So you can join in, and then you can start developing things. And of course, you automated finding. So what they do is they give the source code to you, right? So even they have one single report here, and then of course you can go and get the documentation, website, and blah blah blah, everything. And of course you can go to GitHub and get the full code. So it's sort of like quite direct, you can see the code and everything is here. So what I'm supposed to do, I'll get this thing. If I can download the whole thing, or I can clone this repo, right? I should go to this. This is what I would do. This is the practical side of the story. Don't worry, we are going to do it probably the next time. My connection is pretty slow. I'm in Sri Lanka these days. Yeah, I'm pretty poor, so let me quickly check my. Yeah, so I bought this extra GBs. I hope it's all right. Yeah, I think it's all right. Yeah, so I can probably get the terminal. I don't know whether this is too big. Let's quickly check. Please ask if you have any questions. Today I have gone a bit here and there, but I hope you understand. Okay, we'll make a directory for smart contract audit. Oops, sorry. And we can say git clone. Yep. So we are cloning. Oh, what is it? Not found. Or maybe probably we might have to. This one you might not be able to clone, is it? Have I done any mistake? If you can fork it, you can download the code. Okay, so probably can get this guy. So yeah, it's coming. And what I can do. Yeah. Then I can open cursor. But remember, you have to set up some frameworks, something called hard hat and all that. We'll learn about these things. Don't worry. Because when you have AI and all that, we can do things so fast these days. Let's open it up. And I'm auditing this smart contract. Please index and go through scan for major vulnerabilities. So we haven't looked at any vulnerabilities yet, but don't worry, we are going to learn all these things. We can do so much of things with AI these days, right? I'll teach you a few tips actually. You can see I've started indexing a smart contract. Yeah, so this is written from Solana, right? So this is a non-EVM one. Oops, is it? I can't exactly remember. Yeah, should be, right? So we can find some scripts here. Yep. No, this is Solidity, not Solana. This is like Solidity. This is Ethereum EVM one. So you can see stuff here, right? So it goes through and it says some vulnerabilities. Is it? Review for continuous scanning, blah blah blah. Would you like to deep dive? Yes. So I can, so this is the process that I can do, right? And there are a few adjustments I need to do. We'll talk about it later. But this is the process that we're going to do work with. So they go through the particular files which are important. And this is like what we are doing in the process, right? But truly, there are so many other ways to look around it. We'll come back to that. But anyhow, this is just to say that, okay, this is how we do these things called audits. At the same time, if you go to Immunify, you can really look into the existing smart contracts running. Even it can be Ethereum one, right? Ethereum, which is the currency for, blockchain. Ether is the currency. So you can even have, you can do pen testing on that. That's possibilities there. I hope it's clear. So this one is Code for Arena is mainly auditing one, but I think they have their bounties as well. Yeah, there we can hacks as well. But at the same time, there are these website like Immunify. They have their own programs, which you can do hacking, true hacking. Right, enough. Any questions up to this point? So we have gone quite an array of topics. Any questions? Any questions up to this point? Good. So normally, like we stop at this point, right, around 9:30. We are 9:20. We have another 10 minutes. Is it okay for going for additional 10 minutes? I'm not going to cover everything. Don't worry. Next time we can do the rest. We have almost come to 1.5 hours point. Today we started at 8. That's the thing. But any questions up to this point? Good. Right. Okay, let's move on. So in blockchain, you have to learn it in proper way. So we have today learned what is a blockchain, very simply, and what is decentralization. Now it's not a centralized entity, right? And why it matters also we have learned. And blockchain structure also we have quickly went through the blockchain structure. It's not a proper learning, I would say, but we will do proper learning by doing things, right? And of course, then storage. Where do you store these things? That's the next question. ඉතින් අපි මේ ඔක්කොම ටික මේ ෆොටෝස් එහෙම දැන් අර ක්‍රිප්ටෝ චේන් NFTs වල ෆොටෝස් වීඩියෝස් ෂෙයා කරන බ්ලොක්චේන් නෑ. Storage වලට ගත්තාම we have something called IPFS. We'll talk about those things. This is the IPFS. Is it in Savera? What is that? Yep. Yeah, so this is building up blocks for better work. So of course, the data is different places. And there are so much of things to do here as well. People can still ask questions. So is the data truly secure? So there are few major questions to answer yet, but yeah, you can understand. So it's all about the record, the transactions, and onwards. And then obviously cryptography is a huge one here. So there's a lot of lovely things to learn about cryptography. Cryptography රහක් තියෙන සබ්ජෙක්ට් එකක් මේක අපි ඒ විදිහට කරමු මේක අපි කෝඩ් කරනවා you can build things and all that and there's something consensus කියලා කියන agreement කියන එක so we can build some agreements so we'll talk about them we can think about different ways to develop blockchains වෙන දේවල් වලට so there are a lot of things and of course with decentralization security there's a huge word called trust we'll talk about that as well. There's a little bit more time we need and cryptocurrency. And of course, we haven't talked about crypto wallets. Now that's a amazing topic again. Crypto wallets, we have software wallets and hardware wallets. Another fun activity. And of course, there are different ways of hacking. I don't know if you any one of you have seen a hardware wallet. I don't know how many of you have cryptocurrency. Anyone here having crypto? So these are like hardware wallets, hardware crypto wallets. Type right? Okay, somebody, Prasanna, you have, right? So, or you can keep everything in place like, I don't I have it in, so there are few, these are like not wallets truly. You can have your wallets connected in your, I don't know, the browser. There are different types of software extensions and everything, right? So MetaMask, so even they have website and plenty of other things, wallets and everything, right? So you can keep your money here, which is the ideal thing to do, because because then the logic is like nobody can hack you in a way unless otherwise you give out your wallet information to someone. So that's why you have to be very careful with your wallet. Or in my case, I have my one in Binance, probably at least some of it. I'm not a rich crypto guy, but I really don't want to show it. I don't know. Maybe like just for fun, probably. Let me check whether I can see it. I haven't checked it for a while. That's my dashboard. Okay, sorry, it should be assets. So there was a lot of stories. Yeah, so it's not a lot. It's like, yeah, you can see it changes every second. So that's the cool thing. So it's around yeah, it's around 1,000. It's a very miniature Bitcoin. So but yeah, dollar value is 1,400. That's almost like yeah, some few lakhs, right? Not a lot, right? Of course, I think Bitcoin prices have pretty amazingly gone down. Bitcoin market analysis. Yeah, I think it's gone down. I haven't checked Bitcoin for a long time. Yeah, so you can see the Bitcoin to USD asset. Anyone doing trading? Yeah, you have to go and check the full chart and you have to put it to, I don't know, 5 years. Yeah, no, it's really good, right? It's really good. It's not bad. It's gone up to $100,000, is it? Yeah, of course. And yeah, it has steadily grown. There's no problem for BTC to USD. Yeah. So anyway, so you got the point, right? So any questions? So the next point. So we talked about blockchain, what is Bitcoin, and what is the whole ecosystem, and then it's just the starting point. There are so many other things. I'll show it to you. Don't worry. I was going through the roadmap quickly. Let me finish it. Then we talk about cryptography, and then trust and cryptocurrencies, crypto wallets. And then if you go down, there are multiple blockchains. Of course, you can have two major categories, of course, EVM based, which is Ethereum related. So yes, you can see a few blockchains like that. And then the TVM based ones, we talk about these things later. And then Solana is one of the, again, a big one, So, and of course, Bitcoin and other things. And when it comes to smart contracts, it's what we're going to learn really, really, really deep into things, because we are planning to break them, right? And then, of course, there are smart contract frameworks. So the biggest one for Ethereum-based one is Hardhat. So if you don't understand what you mean by that, is like we can't just do things with blockchain, right? There's a process to follow. අපි code එකක් නම් නිකන් compile කරලා run කරලා ඒක කරනවා වගේ කරන්න බෑ අපිට. මොකද we have to put it into a blockchain. Process එක a little bit harder, I would say. Probably today we don't have time, but if you really want, you can go to Remix browser, Remix Ethereum browser. You can just try it out right now. But you can understand the process is a little bit different, right? Not truly, but because you need to understand one thing, that is, you can't just run it on a server, right? You have to put everything into a blockchain, right? So that is where it becomes different. So if you really check here, if you go and get a Solidity contract like this, is a contract, this is how the code looks like. It's not really bad. It's quite simple in a way. So it's more look like what, maybe not JavaScript, not like Python, I don't know. what is more closer to you? Maybe we say for the moment say JavaScripts, right? So it's a contract and you have some number. This is like integer sort of. It's a function and onwards. And the thing is, you can't just simply upload this. You have to put it to a kind of how would I say it? You have to put it to a blockchain. So and also before that you have to compile it. When you're compiling, again, be very careful about which compiler you are working with. So there are multiple versions of the compiler. This is common for even everyday programming like Python, but this is you have to be very, very careful. And then of course you can compile it, and of course you can see it ran without any problems. And you can see here down under, it was okay. And now there are so many tools. You can check for errors and blah, blah, blah. You can publish. And then, of course, once you compile it, you can deploy. And when you are deploying, that is you have to be careful. You can truly go and send it to a real blockchain. And there are other fake blockchains here as well, or test blockchains, right? So that is where you have to be careful, or not careful. Understand the process is a little bit different. And also you have to have account, proper account, and you have to have money as well. And again, you don't have Ethereum, right? 100 Ethereum is a lot of money, multiple lakhs, right? So no, you have fake money, you have test money. So, then you can use them. And of course, there's something called gas prices, and, working with all that only you can just deploy it. And so once you have a like browser based, thing like this, you can, quickly do it. It's already done. It's deployed. You can even play it with it, right? So you can store, retrieve values, and it works. It works. You can store some value and you can retrieve that value, and you can, everything works. But remember, this is just a simulation. When you do it in the real world, you have to probably we can do it in Visual Studio Code or using Cursor or something like that. Remix is nothing bad, but this is just for the early learning, right? So next week, probably we'll go through a few projects, right? And we'll just move it to a real world as well. We can build up a real world network. I hope it is clear. I'll take another 10 minutes. So please bear with me. Yeah. Any questions? So just have a quick look around. And there are so much of YouTube videos if you wanted to run your own quick smart contract. It's not bad. But I have told you, right? So you can use Cursor even now for editing for in a real world project for money as well. So there's a lot to learn here. There are so many things that you can work with AI. We'll do one by one, right? Nothing to worry too much about it. Yeah. So you guys are not asking a lot of questions, so I'll quickly go through. And then, of course, places to practice. Of course, so many places, right? So you have something called DeFi, Vulnerable Hub, vulnerabilities. Yeah, so it's something called Damn Vulnerable DeFi. So this is something really fun. We'll start working with this. We will not be able to do all 18 of them. I think there are more than 18 here, but anyway, so next week we'll set up the environment. You can download these things. Again, if you go here, you have to get a contract. You download the contract. See, the contract is here. You can, there's again sol file, which is Solidity file. You download it and test it. Same thing that we do. We can use Cursor to solve this problem. So this is like a CTF, capture the flag sort of a thing. So damn vulnerable DeFi. So this is one. You can use that, or you can, there's something called Open Sapling, which is a company, and they also have plenty of exercises that we can use. Once you go through those exercises, it's like try hack me sort of, you'll learn a lot of things. You can try out all those fun things, and make sure you bookmark this site. There's a lot to learn. I don't have time to go through any of those today, but even one single platform, there are so much of things to learn, right? So of course, if you read through, there are so many things that you don't understand. Ethereum, what is mean by a protocol, what is an address, what is a token, and what do you mean by these stable coins? There's a lot to learn. And again, what is a TVL, and how do you compare chain? What are airdrops? And it's a huge ecosystem. Try to understand. And you can build a product. I'm also building a product. You can build up something called a virtual reality. This is some fun thing that there are even games, right? If you want to play games, there are blockchain-based games. Or you can, using 3.js, you can create a virtual world. This is the next big thing in the future to come. Build a, like probably you guys have played or worked with Second Life, which is, there are goods and of it. But Second Life is a game, like a virtual game. People loved it for several reasons. Oh, my internet connection. Yeah, so you can go and act like someone else. So I'm not asking you to do that because it's probably not good for your psychology, but still, there's huge things happening in the virtual worlds. People sell things, people do so many crazy things. But now with Meta's VR set and all that, people loves the idea of virtual reality because you can go anywhere you want and it's going to happen. So the thing is that you can create such environments using platforms like Unity, Unreal, or 3.js, and basically you guys can set up blockchain smart contracts. People would love it, and then you can create content, and so you can see the scope of it, right? I just wanted to showcase how big this is. Some people say blockchain is probably not the future. No, the thing is the logic is so crazy. So there's so much of things that you can do with it, and then so much of things happening, and there's economies built on this. So one thing that the next thing that I want to tell you is you can now see the scope, the value of becoming a developer and a cybersecurity guy on blockchain. Apart from that, that's another thing that I really want to understand, for you to understand. And I'm going to ask this question directly, right, to all of you. Like if I give you $10 million right now, today, just think very seriously, yeah? $10 million to, right, any one of you. How many of you know exactly what to do, how to invest, where to invest, how to invest for 10 years, and how to retire early? 10 million would be enough for you to retire if you want. 10 million, like කෝටි ලංකාසලින් කෝටි 300ක්. 1 million කියන්නේ කෝටි 30ක්. 30ක් දෝ කෝටි 30ක්. you know, ලංකා සල්ලි වලින් කෝටි 2ක් සල්ලි දැම්මොත් එහෙම ෆික්ස්ඩ් ඩෙපොසිට් එක ගන්න පුළුවන් මාසයට ලක්ෂ 7ක්. ඒතර කෝටි 10ක් ගන්න පුළුවන් ලක්ෂ 70ක්. මේ කෝටි 30ක් ගන්න පුළුවන් ලක්ෂ 210ක්. කෝටි 2ක්ම ගන්න පුළුවන් කෝටි 30ක් දැම්මොත් එහෙම මාස 6කට නැත්නම් අවුරුද්දකට. right? ඉතින් ඒ ගන්න හොඳට මැදි කරන දවස් කෝටි කීයද මම කියවනේ ගණන්නේ කෝටි 2ක් නේ. ඒතර මාසෙක ලක්ෂ කොහොමත් හම්බ වෙනවා ලක්ෂ 15ක් විතර වගේ ගන්න පුළුවන්. So you understand the logic, right? Am I clear, guys? So if I'm giving you $10 million, what would be your plan for invest? No one or anyone else? Do you have a plan? Write down if you want and check. අතමන් $10 million fixed deposit කීයක් දානවද? කීයක් සල්ලි වියදම් කරනවද? කොහෙද සල්ලි දාන්නේ? ලංකාවේද tax කොච්චර තියෙනවද? සිංගප්පූරුද ඩුබායිද? හරියට plan එකක් කී දෙනෙකුට තියෙනවා. So the whole idea, I don't want to waste time. Right, we are in the last 5 minutes. So the idea is you need to understand how to do finance basically in give me a second. Sorry, පොඩක් මිස් වුණා නේද? මේ hello? එතන ඔක්කොම ඇහෙනව නේද? Okay, so just want to talk about I think I really wanted to show you about about this particular document. It's also about this particular application. It shows about different types of different types of. I think that's a problem about the. Yeah, so something about the connection. Give me a second. Yeah, that's fine. So anyhow, so I think we talked about what sort of models that we've been using it. So I think it's clear. Any questions up to this that we're looking into this, right? Because the time is like we have already passed. We have only 1 or 2 minutes. So I would stop about it, but I hope it was clear. But there's so much of other things to carefully go through things. But probably next week, there are a few things that we should go and more details. As an example, awesome smart contract security and all these things will work out in the next week onwards. And at the same time, you can look at this one. There's another website called Desk Screener. You can find out different types of uh, different different prices and all that. It's already there. So Ethereum, all these things. You can have a quick look at those things. And of course, the other cool thing is that we can run these practicals and everything using this website. So Etherscan, so you can run all these things, and you can run the code using prompts like using some AI and other links. So these things are also possible to do. Anyway, so any questions? So any questions? So the next day we'll go and details about how to do and real implementations, because we have taken the time is 9:40, and next week onwards we can go a little bit detailed into things. Any questions? Okay, guys. Okay, if you don't have any questions, thank you. So make sure if there's any questions, any problem about so the basic concepts that we have learned about, and also the basic logic of uh, what we have learned today, go through them again and again. What is a blockchain, and how we use for cryptography, and also cryptocurrency, and also a little bit of smart contracts. So in the next time, we can go details and we can understand how to create your own environment, and you can how to do implementation. So we come to that, and then of course we'll do it on DeFi and NFTs, and we can do some practical real world stuff. All right, guys. So on Thursday we'll start with AI, and until that we can meet up. So thank you so much, and we'll end the session if you don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.